Hi, I'm Tyler from Road Overland. Today we're doing a little chat about our FUSO. It's a 2010 FUSO, 4-cylinder turbo diesel. It only has 160 horsepower, but high torque and meant to run on high RPMs. Gets quite decent gas mileage, anywhere from 14 to 18 miles per gallon, depending on terrain and elevation and so forth. We are trying to bring products into North America for the FUSOs. Most of the products are imported in from Australia. We're now doing safari racks, brush guards, winch mounts. We have an aluminum bumper that'll add to the winch mount in prototype stage right now. We're going to do side ladders that go from the safari rack down the side of the cab. What else are we doing? We got mounts for max tracks on the back of the safari rack. You can fit a 37-inch tire up on top if you'd like. We're also prototyping a mini crane that can help take the tire off and bring it on. We've got tabs up there for 50-inch curved light bar up top, seven other tabs for smaller lights around the sides or around the back. So it took me a few years to find the FUSO that I wanted. I picked it up out of Winnipeg. It was 2010. I got it. They hold their value quite well, but I was able to pick this one up for about $16,000, and after doing a few things to it to get it shipped here, I got it for around $20,000. It had 155,000 kilometers on it, which is not much for a 4-cylinder turbo diesel. They call the 4-cylinder turbo diesels million-mile engines because you can pretty much get a million miles out of the engines. So the engine in this thing is barely broken in. We are running on the 37-inch tires, so we've gone to the super singles, got rid of the dualies, and got rid of the commercial tires. The commercial tires run at higher PSI, more like 85 PSI, where these off-road tires can run 50 to 40 PSI, and off-road we go 30, in sand we even go down to even 20, sometimes even into 15 PSI. The biggest thing for these vehicles in getting a softer ride is changing out to the super single tires and getting into larger off-road tires. It's like riding on a big balloon. So for dollar per dollar, the easiest way to smooth out your ride is to go with the tires. So putting on the 37s, you don't need to modify it too much. Basically, I've just trimmed out a bit of the quarter panel here, the little plastic part. Trimmed it out here, and I removed the step that normally sits here. This year model has a very low step, and when you flip the cab forward, that step bumps into the tire. So I've removed that and trimmed that. It doesn't look like a lot of clearance, but it works perfectly fine. We were down in Baja. We were down on some of the Baja 1000 tracks, and we were driving down there doing 70, 80 down there and bumping all over the place, and we didn't have any issues. I have run them with the stock springs and still had no clearance issues. I've done a custom spring package with one of the 4x4 companies, where we put a lot more leaf springs in, and they're a lot thinner, so you get a lot quicker movement response to them. And then we've also moved up to the Fox shocks with adjusting knob on top, so you can actually adjust dampening on it, as well as a separate reservoir for extra added oil to help keep it cool when you're bombing down tracks fast. But you know, it handled the tracks nicely, and we're quite happy with it. So one of the comments that people say is, why the drive shafts look so small? Well, the FUSO doesn't have a lot of horsepower. It deals with more torque, and it deals with a smaller engine, so they get away with a little smaller drivetrain. They are made as a commercial vehicle, so these vehicles can take a pile of weight and not have issues with that. So the leaf spring package that's on the back now is the stock commercial one. So it has a standard leaf spring, and then it's got the overload springs. We are just barely touching the overload springs, and that's a nice thing about having the FUSO as your format to build on, is that you never really have to worry about overloading it in weight, because you can pretty much put anything you want on this vehicle, and it's going to handle the weight no problem. So these are the stock springs. Now we're going to be doing a custom build. We're going to do a full custom camper on here. So once I've built the full custom camper and we figure out exactly what our weights are, right now with the pop-up camper, the aluminum deck that we built this past year, we're still under 9,500 pounds for this vehicle. Once we build the custom aluminum camper and add all our extra water, extra fuel tanks, extra low profile storage boxes, we'll probably be closer to that 13,000 pounds weight, and at that point we'll do another custom spring package in the back, as well as put the Fox shocks in there to operate with the new weight of the vehicle. So the FUSO, obviously it's a commercial vehicle. It wasn't really made for creature comfort. Inside it's fairly basic. We've done some modifications. We've put in a pop-up screen for the stereo with the backup camera. We hooked up a nav system into the stereo, changed out the speakers, kept it fairly simple. The headliner's great. Add all your patches to it. The one thing that we are going to change is, because it's not a luxury vehicle and it's a commercial vehicle, they don't put a lot of money into soundproofing the cab. So we will be ripping out the flooring in the cab, putting soundproofing down, just to help with the sound, because you are sitting on top of the motor and you are sitting on top of some pretty rugged tires, so you get a bit of street noise and stuff to it. It's not horrible, but it can definitely be improved a bit. So a standard dash, they come with this is your regen. So because it's got this one has a diesel particulate filter. So as that filter clogs up, if you're doing highway driving, it regens itself. But if you have to do a manual regen, you got to pull off the side of the road. You flick that on, and it'll turn on the regen cycle. And that rarely happens. That's only if you're driving a lot in the city or a lot of low speeds. We've only had to do it a couple times. This truck has a power takeoff unit that drives a hydraulic pump. So this is the switch for the power takeoff unit. It runs off the transmission. We run a hydraulic winch. We have a custom log splitter we use on the back, as well as the back 8 feet is going to be a dump deck. So it'll all run off the hydraulics off the PTO. This is your 4-wheel drive, on and off. This here, everyone says, hey, that's a odd spot for your emergency brake. That is actually your 4-wheel low. You grab that, you pull it down, go into 4 low. And then this is door locks as well. So open or shut the other door from this side. Yeah. And check engine oil. They also has a check engine oil. Green means good. Yellow means I believe it's yellow, or orange means, yeah, probably need a little oil, and then red means, yeah, you definitely need to have an oil issue. That's just my alarm light, and then USB for music and stuff for the stereo. Have it set up so we can also watch videos on it for our kid when we're parked. She can watch cartoons when we're we're setting up camp, keep her entertained. We can put cartoons on for her, and she can keep herself entertained so we can get things done efficiently. We have this screen tilted forward right now because it's easy for her to see, but we should also change the angle and easily. We can go to our main menu, we can go into our nav system, go to full screen, open it back in. That is. So on this build, I decided, because I have a power takeoff unit with a hydraulic pump off the transmission, I went with a hydraulic winch. This is a 15,000 pound hydraulic winch with the Factor 55 Fairlead and Ultra Hook, which is the top of the line, super strong winching equipment. It's got our custom winch mount on it, and right now it just has a modified trimmed out stock bumper, but we'll be doing a custom aluminum bumper for it when we get the time. The nice thing about the hydraulic winches is you don't get the lag like you do with the electric winches. Plus, a large winch like this can drain your battery pretty quick, where hydraulics, you're not draining your battery, so it's nice to have, lots of power. So once again, because I've decided to go with a hydraulic winch, one of the things that took up a lot of space was your hydraulic tank holding your hydraulic fluid. So what I built into the headache rack, this headache rack is actually my hydraulic tank. So this is filled up all the way up to here with hydraulic fluid. It comes from the hydraulic pump up through the line, through the filter, into this tube. Each one of these pickets has a hole drilled in the top. The fluid can drip down those pickets, which acts as cooling fins, and whatever is remainder goes all the way to the far end, down through a hole, down through this bottom tube, so it gets plenty of time to cool before it comes into the outport for the hydraulic pump. And then your fill and your breather is up top there on the top of the headache rack. It just saves a lot of space rather than having a separate hydraulic tank sitting on your rig, so something different. So these are just some temporary storage boxes. We'll eventually build a custom 7-foot storage box in here temporarily to use with this camper, and then eventually that'll go when we do our custom camper. But an option for customers if they want us to build them for them. But these are just basically tools. So we got socket sets, we've got torque wrenches. These tires, they have to be torqued up to 450 psi. So heavy duty torque wrench, electric, it has lights as well as beeping. So when you got a 4-foot bar on it, you can't actually read what it's saying. So you can either listen to the beeps or watch the lights. So cordless angle grinder for wire wheels, zip disc, grinding disc, flapper discs. Wire wheels, extra zip discs, extra flapper discs, grinding discs. You need all that stuff when you're doing long travel. Extra screws, bolts, Allen keys, picks, silicone sealant, glue, earplugs, sockets for your tires, Loctite, zap straps, screw sets, impact, large impact, drill, medium impact, and then kind of your standard Allen key sets, metric, imperial, tin snips, vice grips, hammers, battery charger, extra batteries, crowbars. So as a temporary solution, we didn't want to be sitting here working on this build for years and years and not being able to use the truck. So until I get the chance and the time to be able to build the custom camper for it, we picked up this Hallmark pop-up camper so we can get out and actually use the truck. I picked it up secondhand used up island. I think I paid $4,500 for it. We've used it all the way through Baja, down through the States, all up through Canada, and it's done wonders for us. We're hopefully only, I mean, as much as we love it, we're probably only going to have it for a couple more years, because hopefully by then I will have built the custom hardside pop-up for it. We're in the middle of our build. We're a year and a half into our build. Figure we got another 3.5 years before we kind of get it to where we want it to. We're going to keep working on the product lines for supplying FUSO canter products in North America. So again, low profile storage boxes for underneath the truck, larger low profile diesel tanks for the truck, rear bumpers, front bumpers, winch mounts, safari racks, ladders, brush guards, and hopefully pop-up camper, or sorry, hard side pop-up camper, and if somebody wants to throw a regular camper on, under the tongue camper storage for their vehicles as well, and hopefully come up with some more ideas for the future. So yeah.
Hey comrades, don't forget to hit that like button and also leave a comment, and if you haven't subscribed yet, you should by hitting that subscription button and also bell notification next to it, so you can actually get my video updates both in notification in your video feed, and as well you can support this channel if you like my videos through PayPal or Patreon in the links down below or just after this video.